Welcome back to another episode of Rocking Twenties. I'm so glad that you're here watching and listening. And before we get to our topic para sa araw na ito, if you haven't liked, subscribed, or followed our social media pages, you can do that now. And if you're watching this on YouTube, give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, and comment your thoughts after watching this video. You can find us on Facebook and Instagram by using at Rocking20sph. Alright, let's get down to it. This episode will be posted later than usual because I took my own advice and rested my mind and body for this past 2 weeks. And it's amazing what an extended period of break can do to your mind and body. And now I'm feeling better and ready to do the task I have before me. But during that break, my mind wandered into thoughts about the future, and I started to take time and evaluate where I'm at in life. And like how most young adults feel, I started feeling pretty left behind. Well, for starters, I don't have my own house, my own car. I'm still learning how to properly invest my money. And my job right now is not really my dream job. Well, some of my peers are now abroad pursuing their masters, starting their own family, building their own businesses. And after thinking about these things, I decorated the room, played some sad music, and started my very own pity party. And thank God I've been to so many pity parties I organized myself. And now I know when it's time to pack up and wrap up the party. So party wrapped faster than usual, and I was reminded of the lessons I already learned but always manages to forget. So let's get these lessons on record so none of us forgets. So first, whenever you feel like you're falling behind, remember to not put too much pressure on yourself. When we go on social media, we see our friends they post about their new cars, new jobs, new businesses, new house, new baby. And sometimes it makes us feel bad about ourselves. They look like they have life figured out. And soon we find ourselves in a bubble of pressure where we want to succeed as fast as possible to be just like them. And although pressure is good sometimes, too much of it can impact your mental health. According to a study conducted by mentalhealth.org, 60% of young people aged 18 to 24 have said that they have been so stressed out by this pressure of succeeding that they were unable to cope. When we are subjected to an unhealthy amount of pressure, it makes us become weary quicker and leads to more unproductivity and lots of bad days. All of a sudden, the job you used to enjoy doesn't seem that much enjoyable anymore, and saving up for the future house becomes a burden because you want to be able to afford bigger, better, faster. But like I said, pressure is not always bad. It challenges us, motivates us, and it makes us grow, but it must not overwhelm us. If you are finding yourself in this bubble of pressure, it's time to pop it and let pressure work to your advantage. You can start doing this by celebrating small wins and setting short-term goals towards your greater goals in life. When we break down big things into tiny segments, we become more aware of our progress, and therefore it makes us feel fulfilled. And next, I was reminded that I'm still young. We're still young. I think one of the greatest lies we tell ourselves is that we're old. I know we're getting older every day, but we're really not that old. Why is it that when we start to hit our 20s, we think that it's an end of an era of joy, happiness, discovery, and adventure, when in fact, I think it can only be the start. Nakakita na ba kayo ng mga posts sa social media where they say, at 18, I bought my own house. At 20, I got my own car. Stuff like that. Recently, I came across several of them and I thought, wow, at 25, I don't have these things yet. And it made me feel kind of bad. It's easy to feel that way and think that if we don't accomplish certain things at a young age, we're failing in life. But that is far from the truth because we all have our own pace and timing in life. I know of people who only got their own house by 40 but are just as happy as the ones who got theirs at 20. And as for me, I finished college at a later age compared to my peers, but right now we're all the same. Everyone is working on their lives and on their dreams. Doesn't really matter who finished first. So be gentle to yourself. You don't have to sprint in this life. And another lesson that came into mind was most good things take time, so let patience be your friend. Our generation is very impatient now. We are so used to getting everything we want in an instant. But when you want good things in life, you must be willing to go through the tedious process and be patient. Do you know that on average, it takes 4 years for a startup business to actually make profit, and about 7 to 10 years before they can feel like they have gotten a certain amount of success? During the first 4 years, these businesses go through a lot of refinement. And it can actually take more than 4 years for the business to find its own footing. This is why patience is a very important ingredient of success. So if you are working on a business or saving up for a house or working on your education, trust the process. Our lives are a lifelong process of refinement. Some may have their taste of success early on, but it doesn't mean that there won't be any challenges after that. So next time you are tempted to quit, remember that every day you are getting closer to your goal, as long as you are working on it. And lastly, I was reminded that comparison is not always the thief of joy. I know we've heard of this famous quote saying that comparison is the thief of joy, but I think that is not always the case. That day, I hated going on social media because it only takes one success story post from a friend I know to make me feel insecure. And yes, social media is not the best place or healthiest place for people with low self-esteem, kagaya ko noon. And it's important for you to take breaks from social media so you don't get this idea that everyone is succeeding in life except for you. It took a lot of reflection and battling the voices in my head before I was able to be genuinely happy for other people. Of course, I haven't perfected it yet, but I'd like to think that now there are more times I join my friends in celebration than crying in the corner. How did that happen? Because I no longer let comparison steal my joy. Because I think comparison can be a good thing when you have the right mindset. If you see someone succeeding, I think the better way to handle it is to learn from them. How did they do it? Perhaps you can ask for advice. And it is important to know that most of these people have worked very hard, and it's quite unfair to view their success with bitterness in our hearts. And personally, I think without comparison, we will not be making any progress. If anything, comparison now makes me want to learn more, work smarter, and do more. Questions like, how can I improve? What did I do wrong? And how can I make it right? How did other people handle situations like this? Again, don't let comparison steal your joy. Instead, use it to help you become better. And keep in mind that we are all living different lives. You can't compare yourselves to a dancer if you are a singer yourself. If anything, compare yourself to the previous version of you. Are you making any progress? What can you do? What are the things that you need to change? And before I end, I would like to let you know that you are not alone in these thoughts. I know that life is harder and it's easy to feel insecure, intimidated, and feel that we're failing in life. Because honestly, I feel like that sometimes. And just because I'm here sharing these things doesn't mean that I'm perfect. Like I said, our lives are a lifelong process of refinement. What's important is that we keep on going no matter how slow. And you might think that you are getting left behind when you only see the people before you. But you need to look around you, beside you. There are people running the same pace and time as you are, and you are all making progress. So that's it. I'd like to read a passage from the Bible, Ecclesiastes 3, verse 1 to 4. For everything there is a season, a time for every matter under heaven, a time to be born and a time to die, a time to plant and a time to pluck up what is planted, a time to kill and a time to heal, a time to break down and a time to build up, a time to weep and a time to laugh, a time to mourn and a time to dance. That's it. There's time for you and me. Remember, next time that you feel like you're falling behind, do not put too much pressure on yourself. Look for your small wins and celebrate them, and try to learn from the success of other people. Share your thoughts about these episodes and let me know that you're listening by commenting down below or sending us a message on our social media at Rocking20sph. That's all for today. Keep rocking in your 20s. Bye!